Hello and welcome to another video. As you can tell from the title, today we are talking about buying yarn secondhand from Vinted and or other secondhand marketplaces if you don't have Vinted where you are. Yeah, Vinted is a relatively new addition to the secondhand market. It's been going for a while in the UK and a bunch of different regions, but we only just got it. Ireland is usually late to the party and we are no exception here. They just launched Vinted in Ireland in the past month or so. Because of that, they've given us free shipping until January, so it would have been rude not to have bought a bunch of yarn and a bunch of other things, but mostly yarn. They've also done this really strange thing where they've linked the French marketplace with the Irish marketplace. I'm guessing because Ireland isn't enough of a market to there be, you know, existing listings on there to sort of bring in the Irish money to bring in the Irish populace onto the website. They needed to sort of have some, you know, like a backlog of listings. But yeah, I don't know a single Irish person that isn't talking about Vinted right now. My house is just constantly full of new packages of secondhand goods, which is fun and also messy, as you can imagine. But yeah, I don't see a lot of people talking about buying yarn secondhand. I think people are able to thrift it, a lot of like vintage yarns from thrift stores, charity shops, that kind of thing. But yeah, on resale websites it's rarer. Buying on eBay, I feel like people don't talk about that so much. So yeah, I thought I would sort of go through my tips so far on finding good yarn on Vinted, and then just show you a couple of the purchases that I made. I'd said a couple of videos ago that I wouldn't be buying any more wool, but yeah, I had to make an exception for the deals. I also have a cutoff date in that if they stop doing free shipping in January, that means that I won't be as tempted as much because I think that the shipping without the free shipping code is like 10 euros or something. It's quite expensive, so that will probably be a hard stop on my yarn buying for a while. But until that point, yeah, I'm just pulling in all of that good secondhand yarn. But yeah, first of all, my tips. I am a long-time secondhand shopper. And a less long time secondhand online shopper of just generally all things. I found a couple of techniques made it a lot easier for me to find the things that I wanted to get on the website. The advantage of Vinted is that there are no fees, which sets it apart from other marketplaces like Depop and eBay and I don't know, I'm sure there's loads for a bunch of different countries. Craigslist, I don't know what you guys list things on. Yeah, I think Vinted is one of the few ones that still has no fees and yet is still able to sort of host such a massive marketplace. And yeah, you can generally just get some really, really good deals on there. The only thing about that is that I feel like people list things a lot more lazily. And it can actually be really hard to find the things that you're looking for. And that can be a blessing in disguise though, because I feel like if people don't actually know what they have, they tend to list it at prices that are a lot lower than you'd expect. Vinted is also a really great place to throw in some really aggressive offers. I feel like people just want the stuff gone. If they wanted to get full price for things, often they would list it on a marketplace that does have fees. And I feel like, yeah, Vinted is just the land of offers. Haha, that was actually my postman delivering my last package of the day. Yeah, because people list things quite lazily, you kind of have to be a bit creative with your search terms. I find that just like typing in like wool or yarn or stuff like that doesn't necessarily always yield the best results because you get a lot of results, but it's not always what you're looking for or the quality that you're looking for. If you're anything like me, then you're probably looking for natural fibers. And I just find that there's a lot of acrylic on there. I don't want to be a yarn snob, but I really, really like the benefits of natural fibers. And that's generally what I'm looking for when I'm knitting with it. I just find that the experience of acrylic for myself personally, I just don't love it. And that is a lot of what's available on a lot of these marketplaces, some older yarns and just things that have a very high acrylic percentage. If you're into that, then that's great because there's loads of it and it's very reasonably priced. But a lot of the more bougie or like 100% wool yarns that are on there, either it's quite hard to sort of pick them out of the lot or they tend to be priced pretty similarly to what they were originally. And to be honest, if I'm going to the effort of buying secondhand yarn with less protections, you know, less of a return policy, less of... There's more risk in terms of like the origin of the yarn and how it's been stored. If I am going to buy secondhand yarn that way, then yeah, I want a good deal. Because otherwise I would just go and buy it new, and I'm perfectly capable of doing that. But I'm buying it secondhand because I want a better deal. So be creative with your search terms. I found really great success in using the term hank or écheveau in French. Because it's I'm mostly looking at like French listings. I was using a lot of French search terms, but it does auto translate it for you on Vinted. So if that is the case on your edition of Vinted, then I would just put it in your native language or whatever sort of language that you're searching in. Using the word skein or hank, these are things that are very specific to the knitting community and is usually a marker of a better quality. If something is actually, well, skein, no, but hank is they're usually nicer yarns, right? Ones that come in hanks. Not always, but sometimes. And I found that the things that I would get back were closer to what I was looking for. And you know, sometimes people don't even list, you know, they don't say the word wool, they don't say the word yarn, they don't say the word knitting even, but they might say like, oh, there's 2 hanks of this in this lot or something like that. So you're trying to find the words that you know are going to come up without getting too many things back, if you know what I mean. I would also search for the specific composition. So not just wool, but if I was looking for cashmere, if I was looking for merino, if I was looking for silk, some of the more niche ones as well. I found greater success finding things that way because you're narrowing it down to the things that you really want, right? So searching for lamb's wool came back with a couple of search terms that were interesting. Annoyingly, there is this one brand of wool, Fildar, that do a lamb's wool that is not lamb's wool. It's like 5% lamb's wool and the rest is acrylic. So you do get a lot of those coming up. But yeah, if you're looking for a particular type of wool, that can be a good way to sort of get results that you want. And then finally, just searching for either the brand or the specific line of yarn. I found good success doing that. I was searching for Retrosaria. I found some Mondim. I just also searched for Mondim by itself as well. I was looking for brands like Noro. I was looking for some French brands that I knew might come up. Durarum Natura was one that I was searching for. And I'm also a big fan of Nordic wool, so I was looking up things like Tukuwool, Yelholt, Rauma, Hilsvåg, etc., and you find some quite interesting things. And when I didn't necessarily know the brands I was searching for, I could also just search for nationalities as well. So I was putting in like Finnish, Danish, Denmark, Norway, Norwegian, and that would bring up some, if you filter it correctly, so if you sort by category and you go really for the home section, you do tend to get a couple of wools that come up. And not too many results coming back up either, which is good. My second tip as well is to search through people's other listings. So if you find a yarn that's of a good quality, of a quality that you quite like, but maybe it's not actually a yarn that you want to buy, do check their other listings, because it's common that if people are buying nice yarn but maybe not in a color that you want, they will be buying other nice yarn that they may be selling as well. So anytime I find something interesting, even if it's not personally for me, I will check their other listings. And I found some of my best finds in actually not searching for the thing itself, but just being sort of led to it by the algorithm or by the sellers of their listings. And also looking at their listings is a great way to get the best deals. You can really be quite aggressive with offers if you're getting multiple things at once. Psychologically, I think for the seller, it's a much better economy in that they're only posting out one thing, but they're receiving the money for both. And that in terms of like time and effort, it's a lot more attractive to get a lower offer than what they might usually get, because it means that they don't have to go to the post office twice or sit on that thing for another, 6 months until somebody's interested in it. Knitting yarn secondhand is still something that's quite niche. It definitely feels like the buyers in that market don't come around that often. So yeah, that's a way that you can be quite aggressive with offers and get things for a really good deal. And my last piece of advice is if you see something that's good and it's quite cheap, just buy it. Don't make an offer, don't wait around, don't heart it and come back to it later. If it's a really good price, I would just go ahead and buy it. I was burnt by this morning. I think just generally on Vinted, things tend to go by quite quickly, and if it's a good price, it'll go. I almost had some really beautiful blue fiber spates, hand dyed. Original skein price was something like €25, and it was listed for 6, and I made the mistake of offering 5. Just should have bought it. Just should have bought it, because it went by the next morning when I went to check the offer again. It had already gone and sold. So learn from my mistakes. Just buy the yarn if it's cheap, and don't be cheeky. Don't expect the world. Just buy the goddamn thing. But yeah, okay, I will go through my purchases now. I'm very excited by these. This is kind of a lot of brands that I'm quite interested to try. None of these are, actually some of them are full sweater quantities, but they're brands that, yeah, I was just kind of searching out and hadn't seen locally and had wanted to try before I sort of invested in a sweaters quantity. And yeah, there were just some good deals. So I'll tell you how much I paid for them. I might have to go back and list and flash up on the screen what I paid exactly. But yeah, hopefully this inspires you to get into your secondhand yarn shopping and save yourself some money. Oh, my last tip as well, if you're worried about cleanliness, which is something that is a concern. I am as moth paranoid as the next knitter. I had one really bad case of moths before I started knitting, but when I owned quite a few wool items in my previous house, and I've never psychologically recovered from that. I had to throw so many things away, had a whole like containment period where, you know, everything was contained and in and out of freezers, and I don't know, we recovered from it and we never want it to happen again. And given the amount of stash yarn that I own, I am super careful about bringing things into my stash. So one thing with thrifted yarn that I always do is that I keep it separate from other yarn, and they always live in plastic pouches, and you know, they don't like intermingle. I don't just throw everything in a yarn bin together. If it comes from a source that I don't trust, then yeah, it's always separated until I'm like 100% sure. I do also, with anything that's secondhand, I tend to either freeze it or more recently I've started to bake the yarn. There's a couple of forums and Reddit threads that recommend this. I think you're supposed to bake it at like 40 degrees or something really, really low, but for a long time. And then that will kill off any of the germs. Apparently better than, oh sorry, the bugs, not the germs. Apparently better than freezing it can do, because it apparently home freezing doesn't get to the right temperature to kill off a lot of the bugs that would exist in yarn. So you're thinking either moths, moth eggs, or like beetles, carpet beetles, that kind of thing. Gross, I know, right? But yeah, I just, better safe than sorry. I have such a collection now and I've worked really, really hard on it, and there's nothing worse than finding a moth hole in something that you've made. But yeah, I am very, very paranoid and I keep everything very separate. And if I'm wearing wool, then I won't touch a thrifted wool thing that I haven't processed yet onto myself. I won't let it come near it. Yeah, I'm the most paranoid. But if you are concerned about that, what I tend to do is also just check the photos in terms of like how the person has presented the yarn. I really hate it when people take photos on the floor or they take it on a carpet, because A, I think carpets are really unhygienic personally, and B, I'm like, oh, what is on the floor that's getting on the yarn? So look out for people that take care of the yarn and photograph it on things like a table or, you know, stuff that's clean, and that I feel like will give you a better sense of safety over buying something where the source is unknown. And if it says in the description somewhere there's a couple of holes or my cat bit my yarn or something like that, just stay clear, just stay really far away. I'm also not averse to hanks that are wound up as well. You know, I don't necessarily have to have the original packaging as long as people are honest about where the yarn came from. And yeah, I've talked to some really lovely people on there. I've had a really good experience, so hopefully you find you start to have a good experience yourself. So I haven't actually gone through a lot of these packages. I received them, a couple of them I opened just to check what it was, because we are actually getting so much Vinted in at the moment, it's hard to remember what is what, but I haven't really gone through any of this in detail or really looked at it. So this is kind of an unboxing. It's really exciting. I've been like holding on to these so I can make this video. Okay, I also have to be really careful not to show my address. First one is one of the first things that I bought on here. This was, I think, the result of searching for Retrosaria. And this was a bundle deal as well. Tiny little box. It looks like it was, I don't know, it's like Asian writing. I feel like maybe it was a, you get to see the most creative packaging when you buy things on Vinted. It's in a plastic bag. We love it when people put things in plastic bags so it's not like touching the rest of the box. All right, so we have some Mondim. We have another Mondim. And then we have some earth yarns. Okay. Right, so this is haul number 1. This is awesome. I'm really excited by this. I've wanted to try the Retrosaria Mondim for a while. ATP Atelier has had this ball of wool that she uses in a load of things for ages. I think she made a really cute baby cardigan out of it. And what Marielle made is making a just stunning jumper out of this colorway, I believe. And I think you actually ran out of some, or will run out of some. If you want this one, let me know, I'll send it to you. I don't know if the dye lots will be the same. But yeah, I think this is the color that you're using. Yeah, I've just been really curious about Retrosaria. It's all made in Portugal. It seems like really, really nice quality. It's got that like hand-dyed look, but I don't think it is actually hand-dyed. Does it say? No, it doesn't say. Sourced, manufactured in Portugal. So they had 3 colors. It looks like they probably went to Portugal and then like tried all of the Mondims. But they only had 1 ball of each. And they had these 2 colors and the blue one. I didn't get the blue one. I felt like I didn't need it. Yeah, I just wanted to try out the yarn. It's non-superwash, which I really like. I won't use it for socks because I don't trust non-superwash socks. But yeah, I just think these colorways are just really gorgeous. And eventually I'd love to make a jumper out of a sweater's quantity of this. And I thought I'd start. You know, the dye lots can't be that different, and I can always alternate skeins. So yeah, so I just thought I'd pick this up whilst it was here and whilst it was cheap. She had the 2 Mondims listed for €9 each, I think, which is not too far from the list price of it new. I think maybe they're like €12 each new, I want to say off the top of my head. But because I did a bundle deal and I got this as well, so this is, oh yeah, Tukuwool, which I think is the same parent company as Earth Yarns. And I have used Tukuwool before. This is a sock skein set, a double set. So it's got these 2 socks so that you can have matching socks that start at the same point. I don't know, so it's easier to make the socks. And yeah, I just thought the colors were really cute, and I will use this at some point. Maybe not even for socks, but for an accessory of some kind, it's hand-dyed wool. Because I got this whole bundle deal, I think the whole thing was really reasonable. I can't remember what the whole price was, but I'll list it up on the screen. And yeah, I think I just got a really good deal on these. The condition's great. Nothing to be said. It's like it was bought new from the shop. So yeah, really pleased with that. Second package, okay. Okay, so if this is what I think it is, ta-da! We have a sandwich bag, 3 skeins, three skeins of this brown wool. Oh, it's so nice. It's so soft. Wow. So this is Snaeldan, which I'd never heard of before. But I think it came up when I was searching, I don't know, I can't remember, Hank probably. It was a lot of 3 and it was super reasonable. I think it was maybe listed as €12 for the 3. And I think I got it for 10 or 9 or something obscene like that. This is Faroese wool, so it's from the Faroe Islands. And it seems quite popular. I've seen it on quite a couple of people's storefronts. And I looked up the list price as well of this new, and it's not that expensive when you buy it, but I think you have to buy it from the Faroe Islands, so that in itself makes it quite attractive to me. So I don't think I got a massive deal on this, but But I did actually need this yarn. This is a color that I was looking for. I think it's actually a sport weight, but I was looking for a fingering weight in this exact color to go with some campus yarn that I'm going to hold together to make a Fair Isle cardigan sometime this winter. I had been on the hunt for a color like this actually when I was in Copenhagen, and I didn't find it. And so yeah, I was really happy to find this. It was a really reasonable way to sort of complete out a yarn quantity that I had. And yeah, super chuffed. This is great. I've got 3 of them. And they look great. Okay, this one I'm really excited to buy. It's a big bundle. Oh, the packaging's really nice. Oh, it smells so sheepy. Okay, so this is it's like packed in tissue paper and then in like a plastic layer. There we go. See, like that. That was really well packaged. Oh, they also included some tea. What is this? Vanilla rooibos. French tea, Eau de Provence. That's very sweet of them. Yeah, I had a lovely interaction with this person. They had 3 bundles. So they had a bunch of Tukuwool, which was one of the things that I was searching for, which is a Finnish yarn. And they had loads of skeins of Tukuwool, which I think the whole lot was listed for €80, and they maybe had 8 skeins, and then they were selling them individually for €10 a pop, which is already a pretty good deal. I think Tukuwool is about €17 per hank at the moment. So 10, it's a great deal. But I didn't want all of it because it was all different colors. But they also had some more Snaeldan after I'd bought this one, and I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. So yeah, this is everything. This is everything that I ended up getting. And so I made an offer on the bundle of the Tukuwool, and I said, oh, hey, could I get these skeins plus your other listing? And I offered her 25 for all of that. And so she was like, hang on, there's a lot going on. Let me just make sure that that I'm getting the right yarns that you want. So let me take a photo of everything that you want, and then I'll make you a listing and we'll do a deal. And I was like, okay, awesome. She goes home that evening. She sends me a picture really quickly as well, very sweet of her, of the Tukuwool and the Snaeldan that I wanted, plus another Snaeldan that she'd had listed that I didn't even realize. Because I'd said at one point, I was like, I want these 2 Tukuwools plus all of the Snaeldan from that one listing. I think she took that to mean all of the Snaeldan that was listed on her storefront. And then she ended up throwing in the whole thing for the 25. So I offered way lower than what I would have offered if it was actually those 3 listings. And yeah, I think I got a really good deal. So 1 Tukuwool. This is the fingering weight, 200 meters. It's 100% Finnish wool. And it's so soft. Oh my god. I think Handmade by Florence recently made a whole jumper out of the sport weight, I believe. 2 colors and a stripe, and she really liked it. So that's why I wanted to try this. So I got the 1 skein in the grey, and then 1 skein in this dark brown, which she'd hanked up, but has the full thing for. So it's the color Ray. R-A-E. So I got those 2 colors. So that alone, per her listing price, was €20. And then it also came, the Tukuwool came with more of the grey. It's like, I think it's maybe a half skein. So I should have about 300 meters here. This is mostly to try. I don't know what I'll make with it for now, but I think this kind of wool is really good for color work. Small accessories. I thought maybe a mitten set in a lighter color, like this brown and a lighter color, would be a really nice way to use this. But mostly I just wanted to try it, and it's so soft. It's so soft. And then after that, I need to put this down. This was the other Snaeldan that I wanted. So this is I think it's a lace weight. Yeah, this is also 100% Faroese. The Falkland Islands. Faroe Islands, is that the same thing? Uneducated person telling you things about wool. So this is the lace weight, which I had a plan for, and the reason why I bought it. I'm gonna hold them very separately now. This Yelholt in Copenhagen, and I'd say it's a sport weight. I was gonna hold it with something else to make it up to like a DK Aran, and I thought this was a really good color match and wouldn't take away from the sport. And the fact that it's lace, yeah, means it'll disappear in it. And I think, without making them touch, I think the color match is really good. And there's just enough of this. So this is an 100-gram hank, and there's, I think it's like, because it's lace weight, it's 720 meters for 100-gram hank. And then she had like a little end, or like half of it. I think I'll weigh it, but it's like 50 or 40 grams. And the two of them together should at least be 1,000 meters, which I think will complete out that Yellholt really nicely. And it's all Nordic wool. So I feel like it's in keeping with the theme. If those two Tukuwools were a tenner and this was a fiver already, that's a really good deal. But she also had more Snaeldan, which I got by accident, but I'm very happy with because it's a lovely grey colour. It's 100 grams. What's the meterage, please? Oh, okay, 260 meters. And then there's a little, so this is like a little swatch. This is a freebie. It's really nice yarn. It's very soft. It's very dry. Like it's rustic, but actually just like really quite soft rustic. Very bouncy. And yeah, I'll definitely have a use for this. You always have a use for grey yarn. Again, it's probably something I'll use in a colourwork project. And yeah, I can't complain. This was basically free. So that's definitely the best bundle that I've got so far. And then the last package is the one that I just got in the post. Super exciting. Nice, wrapped in bubble wrap. Oh, I think she included sweets. Yeah, there's a carambar. Nice. So this person, I offered something really outrageous to. I think she had the two skeins that I'll show you listed for 30 euros for the two. They're apparently hand dyed and were like 14 euros per 50 grams originally. And I have 200 grams. And she was listing into the 30, so that was already a good deal. But, okay, this does smell very aggressively of perfume. Ugh. I think I offered something horrendous like 18, which is really quite low, and she just declined it. And then I was like thinking, and I left it for like at least a week, and then I came back and I offered 22, which is €4 more, and she accepted that offer in the end. So because she'd listed it a really long time ago, it was like, I think the listing was like at least 6 months old. I felt relatively sure that she would take a lower offer. Also because she didn't have a lot of likes or like people watching it. So just keep an eye out for like older listings, which people don't seem that interested in. But yeah, okay, let's open it. Ooh, okay. Have a Côte d'Or sweets. Does anyone feel weird about eating sweets that people have sent you with like secondhand things? It's probably just like a really horrible paranoia of mine, but like, what if they poisoned it? Is that weird? I don't know. Okay, and a thank you card. Merci pour votre achat cordialement. I'll probably remove that so that she doesn't have her name on here. Et très bonne fête à vous. That's very sweet. So she said, thank you for your purchase. And happy holidays to yourself. It does help when you can speak to people in the language. But the translation service on Vinted works very well. So I don't think it's a blocker at all. And there's little llama stickers on the thing. Yeah, little llama stickers. Okay, cool. So, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's very nice. Okay, I've been dying to work with some mohair yarn. Sorry, with some bouclé yarn. Yeah, I just like, I mean, it's been around for ages. The hype's been around for ages, but I've never kind of bitten the bullet. And the drops mohair yarn keeps selling out when the sales are on. I haven't bought it yet. But this came up and the color was just like, it just drew me in. It looked even more neon on the listing. And yeah, I thought, so it's 200 grams and there's, I think 200 meters in each. So I only have 400 meters, which definitely means it's just an accessory or something like that, that I'm going to go for. It must have originally been hanked up, but they probably wound it into cakes. And I think it's like 95% mohair or something. I'm just really excited by this. It's so beautiful. I could probably hold it with something, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know what yarn weight this is. But oh, it's so cute. Okay. Yeah, it does smell of their perfume though. I don't think that'll bother me necessarily whilst knitting. Is it? I don't know. Something smells really strongly of perfume. If I was really bothered by it, I might hank it back up using my Swift and then wash it. I have done that before with yarn that I bought in Greece that stank of cigarette smoke. And I bought it from a yarn shop, but I think they probably smoked inside the shop and it just absolutely stank. So I hanked that up, washed it, let it dry, caked it up again. Anyway, but it's not so overpowering that it would bother me. But yeah, the condition of all of these has been really good. And yeah, I'm really pleased. I don't want to hold any of it against myself, but it's a pretty impressive haul, don't you think? Again, not even all of it. Okay, yay! Okay, I have to leave it there because my battery is dying, my light is going, everything's going wrong. But thank you so much for watching. If I do buy any more between now and the time that I post this video, I might insert a clip of things that I have bought in the meantime.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
But yeah, I do have that hard cutoff date of January when they stop doing the free shipping, so I think after that it'll be less interesting for me to do it. But yeah, I hope this has been informative. I hope you take a look at secondhand yarn. There is a lot of really cool stuff out there that people want to destash. I guess it's the same as destashing, right? But you just don't know the person necessarily. I don't live in a place where there are a lot of like yarn swap meets, or you know, I don't go to a knit night, although I'd love to. And yeah, I just think that availability is a lot less common for me. So I'm really excited to be able to access Vinted and access secondhand yarn. Yeah, I am definitely on a yarn ban, I think, for all of 2025 after buying all of this. Let me know in the comments if you would consider buying anything secondhand off of Vinted, or if you have in the past, what have you gotten? What are your best deals? I love secondhand shopping, so I'm always curious to hear about it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you soon. Okay, bye!